Let's go to Trey Robinson. Says Myles Turner to the Celtics. I do think Myles Turner to the Celtics is extremely realistic. I think at this point, they have to get a big man, and I think Myles Turner might just be that guy. He's a rim protector. They don't have a rim protector. He's a big man that can stretch the floor, and besides Daniel Tice, they don't really have that. So, yeah, I think it's very possible, but they have to use probably their 3 first-round picks. So they have the 14th, 26th, and the 30th pick. I would use those if I'm the Boston Celtics to trade up or trade those away and get Turner away from the Celtics. Now, maybe you have to include Gordon Hayward, but at this point, I think it's worth it, in my opinion. So, appreciate the question there, Trey, about Myles Turner to the Boston Celtics. But with the NBA draft coming up, the NBA jerseys are going to be available at Fanatics. So go to chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. Any player, any team you want, it's available, and it's shipping for free for a limited time only. And here's my favorite thing about Fanatics, besides all the awesome collections and selections they have on chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. They have this thing called jersey insurance. So if you buy a jersey and then that player gets traded or leaves in free agency, you can get that jersey replaced. It's really easy to do. It is an awesome feature that Fanatics allows when you use that special link that's right here, chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. Best place to go, best place to find authentic jerseys. You don't want to buy the cheap stuff with Christmas rolling around. You want to get the good stuff from Fanatics. One more time, chatsports.com/ you can probably say it with me now, NBA jerseys. Go pick yours up today. Let's go to JJ Maciel. Says, where will DeMar DeRozan be going? So DeMar currently with the Spurs. It looks like he's going to be on the move. It looks like he wants out. He does not want to play with San Antonio, it appears. I think him going to the Lakers somehow is possible, but I don't know how realistic it is because I don't know what trade chips would happen. I would like to see him go back to Toronto. I would like to see Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, and Pascal Siakam run it back and really potentially rebuild that friendship and relationship for DeMar DeRozan, but I'm just not sure. I think another potential team could be the Boston Celtics with all their trade chips. I've seen the Dallas Mavericks kicked around out there. I don't think that's realistic. I don't think the Mavs want DeMar DeRozan. I haven't seen a whole lot of other names, but I think it's got to be a contender because I don't really see a whole lot of tanking teams going for an older guy like DeMar DeRozan. Marquise Robertson coming up with a question, says, #draft, do you see the Celtics trading Gordon Hayward and all the picks they have to the Raptors? Well, for what, right? So the Raptors don't have a pick until the end of the first round at 29. Just wanted to make sure I got that right. They are at 29. They're obviously not going to trade all the picks they have in Gordon Hayward for that. They're not going to get Pascal Siakam for that package. Maybe they get OG Anunoby in 29, but then you got to ask yourself, is that worth it? And also, are the Raptors willing to move on from OG Anunoby? So, no, I don't see Gordon Hayward going to the Raptors, and unless OG Anunoby, maybe Norman Powell is available and those first-round picks. But at the end of the day, I don't really see that as a fit in as trade partners, Marquise. But good question. If you want more Celtics coverage, go to our Celtics channel at chatsports.com/CelticsTV. And with the Celtics having all the picks that they do have, I want to ask you this question. Are you going to watch all 60 picks this year? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I'll be typing my Y for yes. You know why? Because we're going to be live for all 60 picks, baby. Last year, hey, Tom, here's a trivia question for me. Tom's right next to me. Do you remember who pick number 60 was in last year's draft? It was Vanya Marinkovic. Did he play a game in the NBA this year? No, he did not. He got drafted by the Sacramento Kings. I remember it because we were live for it. We're going to do it again this year, all 60 picks, and you bet your butt we're going to be live for all of them. So make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications. It's going to be a fun night on November 18th, a week from today that we're recording this video. Super chat time from Kenneth Booker says, does a player with an injury history fall like Michael Porter Jr.? Now, that's a good question. The only thing is there's not a Michael Porter Jr. in this draft when it comes to injury history. Aaron Nesmith is the closest thing to it because he did suffer a stress fracture in his left foot, I believe, in his time at Vanderbilt. And, you know, maybe that makes him fall a little lower than he should, but he's not going to be, you know, to the level of Michael Porter Jr. Another guy that's probably going to fall to the second round, potentially go undrafted, is Killian Tilly out of Gonzaga. I don't know how you guys like to say it, but Gonzaga, I guess is how we'll say it. Killian Tilly is a fun player, also a very fun name to say over and over again, but I think he goes late second round, and maybe he's a steal, but he's definitely not quite a Michael Porter Jr. But those are my two guys, Aaron Nesmith and Killian Tilly, that could potentially fall because of injuries. Nathaniel Bird coming in with the question says hashtag NBA D-Schroder trade ideas. So talk about Dennis Schroder of the Oklahoma City Thunder. So we'll talk about OKC a little bit longer. Listen, I like Schroder. I think he's a great sixth man. In fact, I think he should have won sixth man of the year. I just don't know what his value is right now to the Thunder. Maybe I think it's a mid to late first round pick plus a future pick and maybe an established player. Where does he get traded? Man, I think Boston would be an awesome place for him, but I don't know if Boston is a team that is willing to give up the assets that OKC would probably ask for to get Dennis Schroder away. I know the Dallas Mavericks have shown a little bit of interest in getting Schroder as a six-man candidate, but again, a team that I don't know if they have the interest or if they have the assets, Now, maybe the Phoenix Suns can't get Chris Paul, and they settle for Dennis Schroder as a backup option. I think there's a lot of places that Schroder would fit nicely in. In fact, I think if he went back to Atlanta, was a six-man or was a backup to Trae Young, that might even work as well. But maybe you guys can let me know where you think Dennis Schroder should go this offseason. El Robo Rick uses hashtag draft and super chat, so a double whammy coming from El Robo. Says, who will be the steal of the draft? Good question. I like this question a lot. Now, one guy that I have higher than most people, I think, is Desmond Bane out of TCU. I've seen a lot of people having him go at the end of the first round. The dude's a workhorse. I'd have him go maybe into the lottery into probably, I think 18 as low as he should drop. I think another guy I'd keep an eye on that nobody's really talking about as much is Immanuel Quickley out of Kentucky. Now, Kentucky, they have a lot of guards coming out. Ashton Hagans and Tyrese Maxey is obviously the most notable one. But Immanuel Quickley is a sharp shooter, and he was an elite defender. The only reason he's falling is because he's a little undersized. But I promise you guys, his game reminds me of, I'm not saying he's going to be this player, but it reminds me of Lou Williams with defense sprinkled in. So, good question there from El Robo. I talked about a couple underrated prospects. I talked about a couple guys that wow, words are hard sometimes, that could potentially slip to the second round. But let's go overrated here. Who do you think the most overrated prospect is in this draft? I've given my answer multiple times on this show. Everybody, I think, in the office knows my answer. It's James Wiseman, okay? He's great. And that's not, just because you're overrated doesn't mean you're bad. It just means you're not as good as everybody thinks you are. And that's what James Wiseman is. He's going to be fun to watch. I'm excited to watch him develop. He's got a high ceiling, but he's not there yet, guys. He's just not there yet, but I do think he could be eventually. So give me your most overrated player. I see a lot of LaMelo Balls coming in the live chat. I disagree. I think LaMelo is going to be great in the NBA. He has he has the vision of a point guard and the size of a small forward. But that's mainly the answer. I see a couple Cole Anthonys coming in as well. Good answers, but give me yours in the comment section.